It's a Wednesday and it's our Agile Scrum room. And today we want to talk about how will you help a team struggling with Agile? How would you help a team struggling with Agile? And as I did promise yesterday, today I'm going to take time and answer more questions today. So if you actually joined us yesterday when we spoke about team performance, when I did not really have time to answer your question, we are going to take those questions today. But then, what we are happening or what we are going to do today is let's start by talking about team performance. And the question we're going to be answering today is how will you help a team struggling with Agile or a team struggling with Scrum? Right. Before we get into our discussion, let me know exactly where you're connecting from so that we stay connected and so that whenever you reach out, we can kind of say, oh, I remember you, you joined in from the live, right? So, but without wasting time, we're going to go straight into the conversation for today. What is the conversation for today? The conversation for today is talking about how will you help a team that is struggling with Agile. All right. So, before I give you my response, I want to give you a bit of background. Now, what helps you to understand how to respond to any question is how much of the background knowledge you understand. How much of the background knowledge you actually understand will help you to be able to answer the question in different dimension or in from different angle. Right. Background is very important. Sometimes, if you find it very difficult to answer Scrum questions, or if you find it very difficult to explain different concepts, it's just because you have not taken out the time to understand the theoretical concept, to understand the back-to-back session. So sometimes, if you see yourself actually struggling with explaining concept, what you want to do is that create out some time and take out the time to understand your theoretical concept and understand the underlying concept behind every theory. All right. So I also want to encourage you, please do share so that a couple of people can join. And this is very important because we're talking about team performance and how you help a Scrum team struggling, which is more of encompassing, right? We're going to touch on different aspects of Scrum in order to talk about how we can help a team that's struggling with Scrum. Okay, so let's start from the first step. First step, let's diagnose the question. How would you help a team struggling with Scrum? So the first thing is why are they struggling, right? Anytime you ask a question, don't just go directly in answering those questions. Try as much as possible to reason why they are asking you that question. Try as much as possible to reason why they are asking you that question. Because some questions do not really warrant you to go deeply into the elaboration because of the scenario you've been asked that question, and some might require you to really go deeper into the explanation. But the one for today, since we're doing a teaching, we're going to go dive more deeper in there. All right. So think about someone who is struggling. Why would someone struggle in the first place? Right? We're building the foundation of the question. You only struggle when you don't know exactly what to do or when you are still trying to learn something, right? So that's the only circumstance why you struggle. Or you struggle when you don't understand the purpose of something, right? So in order for you to help anyone struggling, we're bringing Scrum back to the normal life, and then we're going to reflect it into the theoretical or into a conceptual point of view. In order to help anyone who is struggling, what do they need? They need awareness. They need awareness. If I'm struggling on how to use a phone, what happened? You teach me how to use that phone. You create awareness on how to use that phone, or you provide me with information that will help me to understand the reason why I should learn why to use that phone. And that's why you see for most of The electronics or anything we fabricate, there's always a manual that guide you on how to use it. If not, you're gonna struggle. Now, if we bounce this back to how will you help a team increase their performance, or how will you help a team that is struggling with Scrum, you realize the reason they're struggling is because they lack awareness. They lack exactly what to do. So the first thing is, if someone lack exactly, they're struggling with something, we don't just assume that they need help. What are we going to do? We are going to ask for their permission if we can help them. When we ask for their permission if we can help them, what happens? Then you ask a couple of questions to understand specifically what is the right amount of help they need. I'll give you a practical example. Let's say that we meet someone uh, at the bus stop, and they have been waiting there for a very long time, and we assuming, oh, you're at the bus stop, the bus is taking too long to come, so you need a ride. And we say, oh, come on, I'm going to give you a ride. And maybe that person was not waiting at the bus stop because they needed a ride, they were waiting to pick up somebody. What happens? Sometimes we assume that we understand what the teams need based on our understanding of Scrum, or based on our understanding of the concept, and we are actually providing the wrong solution to a team. Right. Now, let me give you an example. Let's say you join a team and you realize that the team is struggling in completing their work, they're struggling uh, in delivering their work, and then someone told you that, oh, we don't have daily stand up. It's like, oh, that's the reason you're struggling. You don't have daily stand up. If you put daily stand up in place, you will not struggle, because that's an avenue for you to sing, to find out if there are any challenge, and to help each other. Right. That's a very good rationale, right? If we come from a perspective of a Scrum master, or Scrum police, or Scrum in theory. But then let's look at it from this angle, which is a practical case of a team which I've worked with. Now, the nature of their work doesn't permit, or doesn't make daily stand up productive. So, although they're actually practicing agile, they might not really need daily stand up. Why? Because although they are a team, all of them working towards a project, they actually receive their requirements from five different product managers. So the five people in the team, they're working towards something, but they are receiving their requirement from five different ends. So which means that every person in the team is aligned to a manager. So in that case, having a daily stand up is to crossing, right? It's for now. If you look at Scale Agile now, they have changed daily stand up or daily scrum into team sync, right? A daily stand up, if you have a shared understanding of what we are working as a team, because we are drawing from the same common pool. But if we're not drawing from the same common pool, we can still be a team working towards a goal, but there is definitely no reason for us to sing, because we are not aligning from the same product line. So you realize that yes, this team is struggling with their performance, but the goal is not because they are missing daily stand up. But if we evaluate from a Scrum perspective, we can easily say, oh, if we do daily stand up, we are going to increase our performance. But how does it help you understand how to help any team, or how to respond to the question, how will you help a team that is struggling with Agile? Now, for those who have had the opportunity to look into my resources, I have uh, 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 a portal, or have a recording on, or a video on your first day at work, which I did, right? And then that's going to be at the reeducation.io website. Now, in that, I say the first thing you need to do in order to help anything is to observe, listen, ask question, and then take action. Observe, listen, ask question, and take action. Now, if you don't follow this strategy, you realize that you start providing the right solution at the wrong time, and it's going to push the team into more calamity. All right. So, what is observe? I'm going to assume that I'm joining a new team and I've received report that this team is behind their work, their matrices are not good, their velocity is low, the burn down chart is not burning down, it's actually burning flat or burning up or for some reason, right? And remember when they're bringing you in as an agile coach, as a scrum master, they're looking at you as a guru, which means that they expect you to come out with some magical solution to make things work. There's always that pressure, like, oh, you know what, we're struggling with this, we're struggling with this. Thank God that you're here, and we're hoping that you're gonna help us with A, B, C, D. Now, at that point, if you don't take care, you trying to be of help might be the end of your career. Now, it doesn't matter how badly your manager or whosoever wants you to help the team and jump in and start implementing changes. You need to be very careful. Why do you need to be very careful? Remember, just imagine I come into your home and I say, "Hey, you know what? Your TV is standing on the floor. It actually need to be on a stand." So, and I go ahead and buy a stand and put it right there. Now, but then I forgot that in your own tradition, you actually don't sit in a chair, right? Just an example, you actually have to lay on the floor. So, which is the reason why you decide to put your TV on the floor. But based on my understanding, based on where I'm coming from, I know that, oh, it's a good example, or it's perfect to put a TV on a very beautiful stand. It gives beauty in the house, and I come and implement that changes. What happened? Now I'm not only putting that TV on the chair and on the stand, and I think, oh, I fixed the problem. Now for me living in that house to adapt to what the change that you have implemented, it means it's also going to cost me to go buy chairs so that I can align with what you have implemented. Now, this is how a lot of coaches, Scrum Master implement change without actually looking back to understand what are the duplicated effect of what we just implemented, right? So we think, oh, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. So for you to have anything, it is four-step process. Number one, observe, observe. Now you ask me a question. What happened if I'm joining a new team right away and the first day I need to start facilitating? I don't have the time to observe. You can facilitate by still observing. I'll give you a typical example. I'm just joining a team today. Say, oh, thank God you're here. We want you to fix everything. Take over all the ceremony. Fine. Now, when I get there, I'm not going to say, okay, team, today's our daily stand up. Let's have our update and start calling names and start behaving as if this is my environment. What happened? What am I going to do? I'm going to get to that meeting. I'll facilitate. I was like, okay, team, I'm happy to be your facilitator today. Unfortunately, this is my first time, and I don't want to assume that I know anything. I love to observe what the team is doing. So, if you wouldn't mind, I'm definitely going to nominate one of you that have been here to facilitate for today. Why I just observe, I'm just going to coordinate, right? Now, what are you doing? You're taking a step back to observe what they're doing. Why are you observing? You're observing because when you understand the way someone functions and you're giving them an advice, you provide more value compared to when you don't understand them. Right. Now, I'm going to give you another example, which is a practicality of what I'm talking about. Assume that you meet someone, you get into a spot, you meet someone sitting in the room, and the music is very loud. Right. And then you, by your own discreet, understand that, okay, loud music is not too good. And you go ahead and say, hey, you know what? Loud music is not too good. And and go ahead and turn down the volume. Right. Now, you have done a very good step by going and checking or turning down the the volume of the meeting. But let's assume that this person was dumb, which means that the meeting or what you've done have no effect on them. Now you were thinking that you did a very good stuff by helping this person, but on the other side, you did not take the time to find out the state of that person, even if they and find out if they can actually react to sound or not. Right. So this is the foundation of helping any team. The foundation of helping any team is you observe, you ask question. When you ask question, now you observe, you listen. Now observe, listen, ask question, take action. Observe, listen, take ask question and take action. Right. So this is a first step that will help you implement the right solution. So in this case, if you have been asked, how will you help a team struggling? All right, I'm going to first of all observe. What am I observing? I'm observing the way they do things. I'm observing any data they have available that will help me be able to make more context into my observation. Right, I'm listening to what they are saying. Right, I'm listening, and when I listen to the way they talk, and when I listen to the way they are conversation, now it gives me the power to ask the right question. When I ask the right question, I'm also listening, I'm observing the way they are behaving, the way they are responding, because someone can actually say yes, but they don't mean yes, right? They are saying yes, but by your emotional intelligence, you will understand that this person is only saying yes just to please you. Now, when you observe this, based on these three factors, it's easier for you to take the right action now. And know we all tie down to, okay, to help a team that is struggling, let's look at the bend down chart, let's look at the velocity chart, I will see if they're doing well and all of that. Yes, that makes sense, but trust me, you can look at those charts and say, oh, I see you have a very bad velocity chart. I see you're bending your story all during the last day and blah 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 and all of this. So based on this, you need to do A, B, C, D. Theoretically you're right, but practically you are not correct. Now the reason why you should also take the action of observing, listening, asking question before taking action, it's also because Scrum, yesterday we spoke about retrospective, right? Having effective retrospective. Scrum, it's all about in a team. What is the power of you sustaining a team? The power of you sustaining a team is communication and collaboration. What is the strength of communication and collaboration? Is first of all for you to understand the other party before you ask your question. Let me say I'm about to talk like, oh, you know what? Just hold it right there. I know exactly what you're about to say. Don't even go there. And you give me back your response. What happened? There's no collaboration. You're communicating, but there's no collaboration, right? And that's also why we take ourselves back to most often when you look about team, think about relationship. What make a good relationship? Collaboration, um, communication, and then we talk about servant leadership. What is servant leadership? Servant leadership simply means that your growth comes from facilitating the growth of others. Your ability to listen to others and help them navigate through their challenges, you are not just doing that for them, you're also helping yourself to be able to move or to be able to become effective in what you're doing. All right. So we now understand exactly how you can help a team become performant. Right. So tricky question, helping a team become performant. Yes, we can look at the matrices, but this is not all about it. What is very important is your ability to be able to do what? Observe what the team is doing, to be able to listen, and to be able now to generate question based on your observation and your listening. And when you are receiving answers to those questions, you still have to listen. Right. You still have to listen before you can take action. Now, in taking action, this is also the last part of it. I'm gonna give you now the coaching part of it. Now, in taking action, which is where you want to help them improve, right? What happened? I'm still going to give you a very simple example. You want to help someone struggling with quitting alcohol or quitting smoking, right? Let's use these two cases. You want to help them actually do that. What's the best way to help them? The best way to help them is not to tell them that what they're doing is wrong or what they're doing is not good or it's not good for their head. Many people understand that. We understand that. We all adult, right? You don't own me, so you can tell me what to do. So if you just tell me, oh, this wrong, it's not right. Yes, I know that you can tell me what to do. I got my own decisions to make, right? But how do you help them? It's like taking a horse on a ride. That's how you help anyone go through challenges. And for some of our horse trainers, you understand that not everyone can take a horse on a ride, right? Only the trainer can take that horse on a ride. Why? That trainer have been able to build trust, and anything that the trainer actually says, the horse is going to obey. Why? Because the trainer have built trust. So how do the trainer build trust, or how do you help someone? First, you acknowledge. It's the empathy approach. Yes, I understand what you're going through. I know, and I've been there, and I feel your space. You want to be in their shoe. When you be in their shoe, you open your heart, your mind, your ear to listen to them. That is a point where there is a connection. And that's why you see some people can easily open up to some certain people compared to some other people. Why? Because of not because some other people know how to communicate better, because they open their heart, they're empathetic, that connection between them. And when this happens, there's a point where results are being created. Now you realize that results are not only created by communication and collaboration, that's the foundation, but also based on what? Environments that are being created to make people feel safe. So you can say, oh, I talk to my team and they don't talk back. I do this and nobody. Okay, that's communication and collaboration, but the environment has not been enabled. How do you enable the environment? I said yesterday about how you build that solid environment by being invested in the life of your team member, making them understand that you care. Automatically, what happens? They go close to you. And how do you do this? Just be there for them. Play your role, right? Don't be that police. Don't be the Scrum police or don't be the Agile police. Okay, this is enough information for today, and I'm going to take about between 3 and 5 questions, and then we wrap it up for today. Meanwhile, I want to say hello to everyone that's connecting. David, connecting from Chicago. Hello, David. We have Herman. Hi, Herman. We have Belinda from Phoenix. Hi, Belinda. And Herman is from Houston. Susan from Indianapolis. We also have Martina from Texas. Hello, Texana. And then we have London. We have Adora from Houston. Um, all right. So all of me from Atlanta. We have so many people joining. All right, everybody, thank you for joining. And the same from Texas. Okay. All right. So let's have the questions. Let's have our questions. Yeah, I think that was kind of misspelling on the topic there. How will you help? Okay, I'm going to correct that topic. That's right. Actually did that when I was very tired. I just wanted to put a placeholder on that. But we all understand the concept of what we are looking at. Okay, perfect. So I'm gonna take out 3 questions or 4 questions, and then we call it a day for today. And congratulations to all of those who actually had the 5 spot. I know a couple of people I wasn't able to give them that opportunity to have a free 30-minute coaching. right? But what we're gonna do is I'm also going to try to see if I can add five more people today. Um, but that they might definitely have space next week or so. So for those who are interested in not interested, for those who are serious about what they're doing, if you're just scanning by, you don't need to. And also, um, you want to make sure that before you schedule any session, check your schedule. It's a one use link. So if you miss it out, you will not have the opportunity to reschedule again. Even if you have the opportunity to reschedule, I'm not going to be there for the next schedule because you've actually wasted 30 minutes of my time. So you can send me a message directly on LinkedIn if you want to be added to the waiting list, right? Or you can send me a text message. I'm just gonna get my number displays in a bit. You can I just send me a text message as well. So and I will see how I can add you on the waiting list. Meanwhile, I'm gonna take my five questions for today and we'll wrap it up for today. All right, so Pascal says if you have a team that they want to work according to your command because you are the youngest in the team, okay. Um, accordingly to your command, youngest in the team. Can you react the question so that I can get more clarity of what you're trying to say, Mr. Pascal? Maybe rephrase that question another way. All right, the next question here says that how will you start up a new team, not an existing team? What are the steps? All right, how will you start up a new team, not an existing team? What are the steps? Okay, so the step of launching anything first is to uh, train those who are going to lead the team, right? Or to train the team member to understand what Agile is all about. Now, your training is going to be based on the product and the product roadmap. So you starting a new team is based on the product and the product roadmap because the team you need to know what resources do we need in the team, what is the combination of the team, what is the number of the team that we deliver based on what the customer wants. Agile says that for you to launch a new team, let them self organize and then, but in most of the cases, we don't have that opportunity for them to self organize, which means that we need to personally interview and hire those who we need into our team. But what will help you start the team is to understand what resources we need, what skill sets we need, and being able to pull those skill set in there. Now, when you pull the skill set in there, then first one of the first thing you do with a new team is start with a working agreement. Now, a working agreement simply specify what are the rules and the responsibility for each member of the team. What are expectations? What are they expected to do? What are the expected behavior, both on the technical and the leadership part, right? And then when you form that team, they actually go through the four stages of the Talkman process, right? Which means that they're going to be forming, they're going to be storming, they're going to be norming, and then they're going to be performing. When you understand that a team that is being formed will move through these different phases, then you can launch as many teams as possible. All right. How long does it take to transform a team in Agile? That is relative, right? I've seen a scenario where within 2 years, most of the companies that implement Agile, they are not fully Agile, even with bigger banks like Banks of America, West Fargo, they're not fully Agile. It's a learning process. It's not so. In that case, if like, oh, I help a company transition to Agile for a company to transition to agile uh or now we're talking about team for a team to transition to agile, it's all on the training that you're going to give them, right? If it's a team that is really performant and flexible, and if they've been working on similar project before, it might take you, let's say, give them an average of 6 months to 1 year for them to really get stabilized, right? And the reason is because you don't implement everything at once. It's a step by step process. If you try to do everything at once, you do what? You get to a breakage point. When you read change management, which is a very big by the quota, change management by quota, you realize that first you need to create a reason, give them a reason, which is buy-in, meeting people one by one where they are, understanding their value, and then looking at how you can align their value into the entire process, right? Before, so you must create that urgency. Why are we changing? Get the buy-in for the team, then work with them gradually in the process. So averagely 1 year, 6 months to about 18 months, right? That's what I would say. Okay, so that question was under how many. Okay, the next question says, how can we handle team member who do not attend most of the daily stand up? Find out why they're not attending most of the daily stand up. That's the way to handle them. Understand the reason. And then if people are not attending just because they don't feel like they're attending, now this can be because of several reasons. Number one, if we don't have a binding working agreement, a working agreement is very powerful because a team comes together and said, okay, this is how we want to work as a team. So if anyone is absent, what does a working agreement says about someone that should be absent in a meeting? Maybe the working agreement says everybody should respect time. In case you should be absent, send a communication about you being absent. Now, if this person constantly don't send this for three, they don't show up for 3 days, you follow up and all of that. What do? Escalate it. They are already going out of the norm, right? So first, you try to talk to them, try to look at how you can help them understand the reason. If they're not accessible, escalate it at once and don't go through so much stress, right? The next question says, if you have a team in which they consider you as the youngest among them and want you to work according to their command, neglecting every scrum guide, what will you do? Okay, we definitely, in not only in scrum, in any workspace, it's not about age. If we start looking at age, we are going to miss out a whole lot of stuff. So, yeah, we're already having a team issue. If we're working as a team, we're not focusing on this one knows better than this have this better than this. We work as a team. So, in that case, if they consider you're the youngest, now we're not longer a team, right? We are not looking into self-managing and self cost-functioning team. Wherever you meet, the goal for performance is looking at what everyone can bring on the table and how you can put your head. So it's already a problem there if they're looking at your age. You also agree with me that even when you're interviewing, they don't ask your age, right? They don't ask your age. So that's already them going towards out of the boundary, and because of that you need to reorder the attention that yeah, it's not about age. Yeah, we can support each other, those who are struggling, but the goal is to work as a team. All right, how can you get every member contribute in retrospective? Call them up, be a good facilitator, right? So if I had the opportunity, let's say that everyone commenting here wanted to get them participate, I'll simply just call their name, right? When I say okay, when I start seeing like, oh, Ola's joining from New Jersey. Hey, Ola, has New Jersey this morning? I look at, okay, I see Aris joining from Ken. Oh, I was in Ken last week. Tell me something about that. So you need to be a very good facilitator to get people talking, right? So most often the way to get people talking is also to get them say something, and then you can pick it from there. So you should be able to use like really good facilitation technique that enable people to type in something, that enable people to join a board and write something. Now you can get everyone participate. Okay, Wisdom says, I'm working from the UK. What's your take on backlog grooming and it's compulsory for each team member to join? Yeah, we actually did backlog grooming on Monday. So Wisdom, check out our video on Monday. You should be able to see more on backlog uh, grooming or backlog refinement. Yes, backlog refinement is for every team member. Backlog refinement simply means we are preparing for the next planning session, right? So everyone that is engaged in the next planning session should join the backlog refinement. So every team member should join. Why? Because we are trying to prepare what the work that's coming up. So if you're not joining, it means you're not part of our team. Okay, perfect. And I think that was the last question for today. And thank you very much for joining. And we keep the content. I think I have a newsletter. I need to re-kick that newsletter. Um, we get I'll have a version of a newsletter released tomorrow, and I'm going to think about the topic. So be on the lookout on my LinkedIn profile. You have a newsletter coming up tomorrow. I'll pick a very interesting topic. And also on YouTube, the Safe Scrum chat room. I'll also be releasing a video tomorrow. It's a thorough video on question and answer tomorrow by midday. Check that out. You have that available. And this weekend, we have been training for those who want to become certified Safe Scrum Masters. If you're interested in becoming a certified Safe Scrum Master, if you're also interested in taking your Scrum or Agile journey seriously, you can send me a text and I should be able to help you. You Helping you doesn't mean that you have to be part of my community. It might just be me giving you a piece of advice that can change the way that you look at things, right? So very, very important. All right, so everybody, I'll see you. We're gonna have tomorrow is Thursday, Friday. This weekend I'm not gonna come on live. So we're gonna have our live sessions again next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Right. Next Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we have our live sessions again. Have a great day. And if there's any question that I did not answer, don't bother. Just keep it up for our next session. And then we're going to take it from there. All right.